One day after I was wounded, every picture, every plaque, all these cool things. I had one, Marat's team. They had a guy custom weld this piece with a cool skull and a V 22, whatever dagger through it, right? And it was super cool. And from the men of blah blah blah. And it was very, you should be proud of that. All that shit went away. Every fucking team plaque, team photo, every award, decoration, they got buried. And until this, I had not pulled them out. I only pulled them out. And my wife, just the other day, admitted to me, she said, I was crying when I saw you actually pull things back out. And when I look at that, and after I've digested it, and even it kind of hits me today, after I've digested it, what I think she was happy about is that I'm showing pride, because she literally said, you should not be ashamed or have negative emotions tied to these massive plaques and people gave to you. You know what I mean? Like you should be proud of them.
Okay,
man. You know what I mean?
All right, so here's what I wanted to say. The reason I'm recording is because I'm probably going to post this thing, and it'll serve as something that we can reference if I need to write voiceover, add things, whatever. Okay, so here we go. So what we just heard him say is that after the military, after his injuries, Nathan was, he took a whole bunch of IED blasts and blasts in general. I think friendly and enemy. And so he's got TBI and shit. And he said he put all these plaques away. Right? He had negative emotions tied to his military experience. That's what the plaques represent.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because a lot of military guys who've done a career, they've got like a room or a wall.
Right.
Trophy room, right? He took it down. And what he's saying was that it was because he had negative thoughts tied to those experiences. Well, the whole fucking point of veteran television since day one has been to provide happy thoughts, positive emotions tied to the military experience. The logic came from a bunch of friends of mine. Actually, one of the guys that Lieutenant Murphy was fucking based on, my buddy Mike Owen, who, him and a lot of other dudes I knew, they got out hating the Marine Corps and hating the U.S. government. Fuck them for what they put me through in Afghanistan. What a fucking shit show. And so they've got these negative emotions tied to their military experience. And there are that's just what I saw from the guys in Wounded Warrior Battalion and then the guys in and my buddy Mike. But there's a lot of guys who they have negative emotions from other things, other trauma that they might have experienced. I knew one dude, he fucking guy blew his legs off and he went to tourniquet his legs, and the guy still ended up bleeding out and dying. So now, to him, he's like, I failed to tourniquet him right because he still bled out. So, thoughts of the military are pretty fucking negative. What Vet TV has the ability to do is pump happy chemicals into the brain, provide a positive association with the military experience. Right? Because you watch the show, and sometimes we show horrible shit, but we present it in a way where you can't help but laugh. Think Combat Sports Network. All right? Some of the people who loved CSN the most are people who have seen the most atrocious things. They've seen the worst atrocities. Yeah. And watching A Grunt's Life and some of the horrible things that were presented in a funny way, they couldn't help but laugh. And then now that there's this laughter associated with tragedy, trauma, atrocity, that happy chemicals is so fucking important to someone's soul, but especially to the military experience. Because it's easy for a lot of people to just be like, nah, fuck that. But you pump a couple happy chemicals into the brain with just one fucking episode of comedy, or maybe it's just one scene. And that is about the military experience. And it's any MOS. Happy chemicals get in there and it's like, oh wow. That whole experience, the brain's perception of that experience is now clouded in happy chemicals. That's all it is. It's chemicals in the brain. So it's now clouded in happy chemicals, positive chemicals, dopamine. Then they're less like, oh yeah, I remember this, and I remember this happened, I remember this happened. Oh, I remember this guy. Oh God, what's he doing? And he reaches out and he texts that guy, and and the guy responds, and they're just like, hey, what's up? I just want to say hi. The next thing you know, they're laughing, they're sharing stories from the military experience. More fucking happy chemicals are pumping in their brains, and then they're like, yo, bro, let's meet up. And if they're local, then they fucking meet up with each other. If they're not local, then they, you know, maybe they plan a trip. I've heard this exact thing. Guys meet up at a Silkies hike. Fuck it, dude, let's meet up at one of the hikes, man. And they meet up and they have this bro weekend, and it's like happy chemicals raging through their body. And their bodies haven't felt happy chemicals pumping through the bloodstream in fucking God knows how long. So then now there's happy chemicals, and then what do we see in the testimonials? Then the guy starts talking to his wife about shit. Talking to being a better dad to his kids.
Bringing back into their life.
Bringing people back into their life, exactly. And then they go back to school. They take a night class. Guys, one of the guys, my favorite ones, he said, I fucking, I saw this, I started laughing, then this happened, and this happened. Then I decided I was unhappy with my job. So then he went to, I think he was like a plumber's apprentice or electrician apprentice. Now he's in the union. He's like, this is the happiest my life has ever been. Wow. And it all started with a catalyst. The catalyst was pumping some happy fucking chemicals into the brain. Just a couple, poof, 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 with a little bit of laughter. And it's the same thing that the nonprofit does. The military, you see all the silkies, the backpacks, the American flags, and the unit flags, the combat boots, military experiences going on, and then you're filled with laughter. And now you've got happy chemicals associated with the military experience. And that's a catalyst for so many people. And he just fucking articulated it so beautifully there. But anyways, that is literally the fucking mission of Vet TV. Mm-hmm. Mission of Vet TV. And he articulated it really well. And now we'll see. So I'm hoping that this goes to social media and you guys get some value out of this. But then also, how can that play a larger role into this show that we're editing right now, Veterans Laughing Together? Okay. That's it. There's my rant. Now let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Hope that was valuable to some people.